Hello, I'm Eileen McHugh with the BBC News. The French Foreign Minister says Europe will retaliate in kind if President Trump makes good on his threat to impose tariffs on steel and aluminium imports. Jean-Noël Barrot said there would be no hesitation in defending the interests of the EU. China has implemented its retaliatory tariffs on $14 billion worth of US exports. Nomia Iqbal reports.
Mr. Trump said he would charge import taxes of 25% on aluminium and steel imports to the US on top of existing metals duties. He imposed similar tariffs during his first term, but later granted trading partners exemptions. The largest sources of US steel imports are Canada, Brazil and Mexico. In a post on social media, Canada's Innovation Minister François-Philippe Champagne said the metal was used to support key industries such as defence, shipbuilding and car manufacturing. He added Canada would continue to stand up for its workers and its industries.
A two-day global AI summit opens in Paris today, uniting world leaders, tech executives and academics to examine AI's impact on society, governance and the environment. A key focus is regulating AI in an increasingly fractured world. Here's Katie Silver.
Europe doesn't want to miss out. France is a big power player in the EU and they're looking to try and devise, a pan-European stance. We've seen President Macron being forthright about wanting to innovate and allow for AI innovation. He said there's a risk really when it comes to having no rules and that being dangerous, but also the opposite risk. And he says if Europe gives itself too many rules that it could indeed miss out. It's also interesting to see India's Narendra Modi as co-host. I guess it's about seeing Europe and India trying to make their mark when you've got the likes of China's DeepSeek and Trump making moves elsewhere in the world.
The head of Ecuador's National Electoral Council says the presidential election will go to an April runoff if current trends in the count continue. 3/4 of the ballots have been tallied. Ione Wells is in the capital, Quito.
The narrow result dashed the hopes of Daniel Noboa's supporters, who had been buoyed by early exit polls suggesting he might clinch victory outright. His presidency has been defined by his focus on tackling severe gang violence. His supporters hope he will secure a mandate in the runoff to continue his security policies. In the April runoff, he'll face Luisa González, a left-wing protégé of former President Rafael Correa. She has criticised Mr. Noboa for failing to deliver on key promises, such as boosting the economy, cutting fuel prices and addressing gang violence. Her campaign has emphasised increased social spending in Ecuador's most violent regions.
The Colombian President Gustavo Petro has called on his ministers and other senior officials to resign so he can form a new cabinet. It comes days after a chaotic televised meeting during which ministers criticised some of the president's recent appointments. This is the World News from the BBC. Marriages slumped in China last year despite strenuous efforts by the authorities to encourage couples to wed and have children. They fell by a fifth, a new record according to the Civil Affairs Ministry. Divorces also saw a slight increase. The high cost of childcare and education are leading causes, prompting the government last year to urge colleges and universities to promote positive views on marriage, love, family and fertility. Blocked sewers at the Australian venue where the Canadian singer Bryan Adams was due to perform have forced him to postpone his concert. Fans who'd been queuing for hours were turned away. Bryan Adams said he hoped to reschedule the show. Phil Mercer has more details.
Few artists have ever been thwarted by a large blockage of fat, grease and rags. But a blocked sewage system has forced Bryan Adams to cancel a performance in Perth because of public health fears. Australian authorities said the so-called fatberg had caused wastewater to overflow onto a main road near the concert venue. The Canadian singer, known for his hits including The Summer of '69 and Please Forgive Me, has apologised to his fans on social media.
The Philadelphia Eagles have demolished the Kansas City Chiefs, soaring to a 40-22 victory in the Super Bowl, the premier event in American football. The Eagles avenged their defeat to the Chiefs 2 years ago, shattering their opponent's dream of clinching a historic hat-trick of National Football League titles. The American author Tom Robbins, whose comic novels capture the spirit of the hippie counterculture, has died at the age of 92. His most successful works included Even Cowgirls Get the Blues and Still Life with Woodpecker. Robbins gained a cult following with his outlandish tales of stone secret agents, mystic stockbrokers and hitchhikers with giant thumbs. BBC News.